So now let's move on to our next session, which is about administering injectable contraceptive MPA. It is important that before administering the first injection to a new client, the screening should be done by a trained MBBS doctor and above. And this is as per the Government of India guidelines. So this is very important for us to ensure that screening is done by a trained MBBS doctor and above. And of course, administering the injection can be done by any trained staff, may it be the doctor, the nurse or the ANM. In the session on technical aspects of MPA, we learnt about that MPA comes in the form of vials as well as Uniject system. But we all should know that the storage of whether it is vial or Uniject remains the same. So what are the certain things as service provider we should be knowing is important for the storage of vials or Uniject? So first of all, it's about the room temperature. So the preferred room temperature is between 15 to 30 degrees Celsius. And we should also ensure that the vials or the Unijects, wherever they are kept, the place is dry and dust free and it is not exposed to extreme heat or cold. The injection should not be kept in a refrigerator or it should not be defreezed. So this is very crucial about the storage of the vials or Uniject. We can keep the vials in the cupboard, but friends, again here we have to keep in mind that while keeping it in the cupboard, careful that it is not exposed to direct sunlight. So now coming to the site of injection. So as we know that the MPA comes in two forms, the intramuscular forms and as a Uniject system. So first let us see how the IM form needs to be given. What are the preferred sites? So like any other intramuscular injection, the preferred sites for MPA are either it can be deltoid region or gluteal region or outer side of thigh. And generally we all see as service providers that the most preferred site is deltoid. But again friends, here we have to keep in mind that client's preference is very important. We have to ask the woman which is her preferred site and accordingly we have to give her the injection. So now the woman is there, we have screened her and we are now ready to give her the injection. But you know there are certain prerequisites before giving the pre-injection. And as a quality family planning service, it is very important to understand and learn what are those pre-injection practices or what are the preparations required. So basically, you know, when we are filling the syringe or loading the injection, one thing is very important that it takes some time. So while we are loading the syringe, it's an opportunity to talk to the woman again and just understand if she has completely understood about the injection, the expected menstrual changes, delayed return to fertility, and in case we feel that at any point of time she is not clear, it's again a time to tell her to reiterate about the expected menstrual changes. Then as a golden practice, we all should be checking for the expiry of the vial. It is always written there. Please, before loading the syringe, do check the expiry of the vial. Another thing which is very important, though earlier we said it can be kept in the room temperature, but somehow we feel that the vial is cold, then we have to generally rub it between palms so before filling the syringe so that it comes to the room temperature. And because it comes in a form of micro suspension, so we should see that the drug is clear, and if it doesn't look like that, we can generally shake it or roll it to ensure that the microcrystals are completely dissolved in the fluid. And another thing which is, I guess we all know, is what? Washing your hands. I think it's a golden practice before doing any procedure. We all service providers, we do, and here also it's very important that before administering the injection, please wash your hands as per the standard guidelines. Then what we have to do? Now we have to draw the solution from the vial into the syringe. So what we have to ensure? We have to ensure that full quantity of solution, the suspension which is there inside the vial, has to be drawn into the syringe. Friends, here we have to keep one thing in mind, that we do not push any outside air into the vial. So now we have drawn the medicine into our syringe. Now it comes to administering it into the preferred area. So before administering, we have washed our hands, we have done one thing. Now what is another thing which is very important is cleaning the injection site with an antiseptic. So we need to clean it, and after cleaning it, allow the antiseptic to dry before administering the injection. Now, as next step, what we will do? We will insert the needle into the preferred area to inject the solution, the MPA inside the woman's body. But before injecting, like in any intramuscular injection, what we all do, we always aspirate it. Why do we aspirate it? This is just to ensure that the needle has not gone inside any vein. And once we have aspirated and we have ensured that it has not gone into any vein, what we have to do? We have to push the content of the syringe into the muscle. Then what next? What next? It is just now the used needles and syringes have to be disposed of as per standard infection prevention practices. Friends, I will not be talking in detail right now because we have another session on infection prevention practices. So now finally the injection has been administered to the women. Now what next? Again, as a part of quality family planning services, it's important to understand what is post-injection care. So what does come into it? So friends, here one thing which is very important, which maybe you may be knowing also, but unlike other intramuscular injections, in the case of MPA, the injection site has not to be rubbed or massaged. So this is very crucial, and in case we see there is slight oozing from the injection site, then we can gently just press it for few seconds. We will ask the client to remain in the facility for 5 to 10 minutes. We will observe her and then we can ask her to go. And one thing most important again, it is that we have not rubbed the injection site or massaged the injection site, and the same thing we are going to tell the woman also, that the injection site has not to be rubbed or massaged. So now friends, let us come to the subcutaneous injection. We already have learnt about it in the technical aspects, where we were told that it comes in two forms, the intramuscular and the subcutaneous. So before administering it, let us have a look again how a subcutaneous looks like. So as we mentioned earlier also, that it comes in the form of a Uniject injection system, and it is called an injector. As a whole, it is called injector, and it has certain parts which are important, because while administering we need to, these parts will be crucial. So if you can see the circular part which has the medicine inside it, it is called the reservoir. Then we can see a broad, tube-like part. This is called the port, and then there is a needle shield. So this is how the Uniject looks like. So now let us see the site of injection for subcutaneous. As for any subcutaneous injection, we all know that the subcutaneous should be given where we have good subcutaneous tissue. So basically it can be the abdomen part below the navel part, or it can be the upper outer part of thigh, or it can be the upper outer part of arm. So now, before administering the injection, there are certain steps which are very important, and one of the steps is mixing the MPA in the reservoir. So friends, how do we mix it, or what does mixing mean? So before injecting it, just hold the injector firmly by the port. Now once we have held it firmly by the port, we have to just shake it gently for 30 seconds. And why we have to shake it? Just to mix the medicine inside the reservoir. For in case there is any delay, for example, in our OPDs, we are used to that we are doing some work and suddenly some emergency comes and we have to rush for that. So for example, if it takes longer to do that work, then please do the mixing again. That is, shake it again for 30 seconds by holding it firmly by the port. Now after shaking it, we have to just now check the reservoir, the color of the liquid, which should appear white to off-white, and there should not be any ooze of the liquid. If we see anything, if any problem is observed, then what do we have to do? We have to just discard it and use another injector. So we have done the mixing. Now another crucial step is activating the injector. So what does this activation mean? Again, what do we have to do? Hold the injector firmly by the port, as we did in the previous step of mixing. So here again we will hold the injector firmly with the port, and we should see that there is no squeeze from the reservoir, which we have already ensured earlier also while we did the mixing. Now what we have to do? We have to hold the needle shield with another hand. And friends, you can see that there is a slight gap between the port and needle shield. So what we have to do? What does this activation require? This requires that we have to push the needle shield towards the port so that the gap which was earlier visible to us is no longer there. And once this gap is removed, this is called activation. We have activated the injector. So now what we have to do? We have to just pull out the needle shield like this. We have to pull out the needle shield, keep holding the injector firmly by the port, and we have to now administer it. So the mixing has been done, the activation has been done, and now finally it's the time to administer the injection. So as it is a subcutaneous version, so what we have to do? With one hand we have to just grasp and squeeze a large area of skin in the chosen area between thumb and forefinger and just pull it away from the body. Now what we will do? We will hold the injector with port and keep it as upright as possible and with needle pointing downwards. And now we will just try to insert the needle downward into the skin so that the tip of the port touches the skin. Hold the reservoir firmly and gently now press it so that the solution inside the reservoir is squeezed into the subcutaneous tissue. Squeeze it gently and it should take around 5 to 7 seconds to completely push the solution from the Uniject into the subcutaneous tissue. Then what we have to do? We have to take out the needle from the subcutaneous tissue. It's very important that the complete dose of medicine which was inside the reservoir is pushed inside the woman's subcutaneous tissue. Friends, we will see some traces of liquid inside the reservoir, inside the edge, but this is normal. We don't have to worry. So now friends, let's come to the post-injection care of MPA-SC. So after administering the injection of MPA, now again check that no medicine has leaked out of the injector or it has appeared on the skin. If we feel at any point of time that complete dose of the injection has not been administered, then please do not give any additional or another dose of subcutaneous. Ask the client, tell her what has happened, and then advise her to use any backup contraceptive method. Do not replace the needle shield after the use. And as we all know that for safe injection practices, for safe disposal, we have to keep it in a container or a box as we dispose the sharps. That we will be learning in detail again in the session on infection prevention practices. And once again, friends, I would like to remind that The subcutaneous version, it is just a single injection use. It should not be reused. So the injection has been given to the woman now, and now what next? It's about post-injection instructions, because it is very important that the woman understands everything which is related to the MPA injection. So what we have to do, first and the foremost thing is we have to ask the client not to rub or massage the injection site or do any hot fomentation. And it's not only about just telling her. It's always a very good practice that we should explain her also that why we are saying that it should not be done. Just tell the woman in a simple manner that this drug needs to stay in the body for a longer duration and the release is very slow over the next 3 months. That is why the injection site has not to be rubbed or massaged or any hot fomentation needs to be done. Then, as it is a 3-monthly injectable contraceptive, we have to ask the client to come after every 90 days for a repeat injection as per the scheduled date given to her. Then we all know that we have been given the MPA client cards. So what we have to do, we have to hand it to her explaining whatever is there in this client card and again showing her the date of injection, telling it to her also, that is verbalizing the date to her also, that see, this is your next date for the injection and you have to come on the scheduled date. And of course, for as a golden practice, we have to always assure the client that she can come for any time in case she feels apart from the date scheduled. So we have to emphasize on the fact that this is a 3-monthly injectable contraceptive and a date has been scheduled for the next dose. So we have to tell the woman about the next date when she has to come. Apart from this, we also have to keep in mind what was the time when the injection was given. In case the injection was given within 7 days of the period, then of course we all know that no backup method is required. But if it was given after 7 days, then here it's very important that we tell the woman that she has to use any backup method, that is a condom, for another 7 days. This is very crucial to tell the woman. And of course, as a golden practice, we have always to assure the woman and tell her that though she has to come at every 3 months, but in case she faces any problem, she wants another method, she's having some menstrual changes and she's anxious about that. So if anything happens to her, she can come to the provider any time before that. In fact, if she feels that she has become pregnant also, then also she can come to the provider any time before the scheduled date. So friends, here we come to an end to the session on administering injectable contraceptive. And I guess you found this session very useful because earlier might be there were some thoughts in our mind that what to learn about administering an intramuscular injection. But we did realize that there are so many nitty-gritties into it, which as service provider we should be aware, because this adds to offering quality family planning services.